What's going on? This is Zach Adelstein coming to you with another college football slate. So I'm going to be going over week two on the Underdog slate. Going to do some early games. Going to do the same kind of thing we did over at PrizePicks. Do some early picks now. Do some later picks, maybe later tonight or tomorrow. Try to split it up. It's a really big slate, and yeah, some really good games on this slate. Tomorrow night we got a couple good games. Got Iowa State's going to be a great game on this morning slate. Baylor SMU. Illinois Duke is actually going to be, I think, really interesting. See if Duke is decent again this year. They had a really good year last year. See how they fare against Illinois, who's supposed to have a really good season. That's CashKeg's team. Let's see if they can live up to it. And UVA NC State is also, I think, going to be a good game this week. Before we get started, if you are not in Daily Edge Sports yet, get into Daily Edge Sports. You are missing out. I'm recording this Thursday, a couple hours before kickoff of the NFL season, and picks are flying over there. Several of our bigger time staff have been putting out picks all day. There's a lot of specials out there, a lot of free squares on the different sites, a lot of boosts. Yeah, we're just trying to help all of our members get everything they can out of this. So yeah, if you have not gotten in yet, you need to go get in. We are going to have a big first week of the NFL. I know we're giving away some of our tools for free this weekend. You head on over to our Discord. You can join our Discord and check out all the free stuff we have over there. And yeah, really want to get you in and get you winning this football season. But yeah, let's go ahead and kick it off. Gonna I think do a three-man over here for this early slate. Let's kick it off. Let's go over to the game. Looked at this game a lot this week. I think this is going to be one of the more fun, entertaining games early on the early slate, which is Baylor SMU. It's got a huge total, 65-point total, has a 2.5-point spread. It's supposed to be a shootout and should be really fun. They're two old rivals. Go back to the Southwest Conference. They were in there together. Two schools that are pretty close down the road to each other. And yeah, I think this is going to be a fun game up in Dallas, up at SMU. I'm going to go here down to the guy that had the most receptions last week for the team, which is Michael Trigg. Trigg's their tight end. He is a pass catching tight end. He got 16 targets last week. Just a ton of work. Was constantly being looked at. Robertson threw the ball 48 times last week, and Trigg had a third of those targets. Only came down with 7 of those receptions for 99 yards and a touchdown. But I mean, still 99 yards and a touchdown. Now he's going up against an SMU team that gave up 244 passing yards last week to an FCS school in East Texas A&M, used to be Texas A&M Commerce, and this is going to be a much better offense than that. I do think both of these teams are going to air it out. I don't hate taking this a little bit of juice on that rushing and receiving touchdowns, but I think this 48-yard receiving prop is a very good spot to go for this first prop, first game. Again, going to have a lot on this game. Looking into several different plays for this. Going to really dig into some of the fantasy scores as well. Keep an eye on that as they come out. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking at for that Baylor team. Next place I want to go is another actually interesting game. This game has a nicer total, a 58.5-point total, 6.5-point spread, so it's supposed to stay within a touchdown of each other. UConn going to Syracuse. Syracuse played in Atlanta last week against Tennessee. Tennessee got out early, looked very, very good with their new offense. Syracuse hung in there. Kept moving the ball down the field. Steve Angeli ended up throwing it 40 times for Syracuse. Came over from the old Notre Dame backup. Had a very good game last week. You go down and you look at his game log. Threw for 274 yards, touchdown and interception. Got some sacks, threw the ball a lot. He only completed 23 of his passes, so he did struggle a little bit. That being said, he threw the ball 5 times in the red zone. Really airing it out near the end zone. He's going to do that again here. He's not facing near as good of a defense in the UConn team. And I really like that 1.5 pass touchdowns. You are paying a little bit of juice on that. So, you do get a little bit of a lower multiplier. But I think that's a really good line for him. I think he's, this is a team that's going to try to get their pass game going. They should be able to handle this UConn team pretty well. It should stay close enough, though, where he's going to have to keep going. With that, almost a 300-yard passing projection right here, he's going to air it out a ton. So this is something, I really do like that 1.5 passing touchdowns. Last place on this three-man, I'm going to go. Let's pull it up real quick. Guy on Pitt, kind of a smaller game here. Pitt's going to Central Michigan. They kind of had a cupcake schedule to start it off. Played Duquesne last week, an FCS school. Eli Holstein, quarterback for Pittsburgh, looked a little rusty last week. Kind of took some time to get going, and kind of really did start to take off. Um, Hicks and Johnson are their two kind of leading targets. Hicks came over from Louisville last year, and they only had 16 and 18 respectively routes run. Week one, they're going to air it out a little bit more here, I believe. I think they're going to try to get Eli Holstein really going. And they do have a little bit tougher opponent here, but they do have a 22.5 point favorite, edge here. Last week, though, on 5 targets, Hicks had 6 receptions for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns. Made an amazing catch. Great one-handed touchdown catch. Pass was overthrown. Just reached up there, grabbed it out of the air. Had a great spring game that's carrying over in the spring game. Took a little short route. Took it, turned it upfield, 65-yard touchdown. He's a really fast player. I think they're going to really get a little bit more look here. Last week they only played 3 quarters, kind of toned it down towards the end of the game. But I think they're gonna try to ramp it up here as they're getting closer to the regular season, closer to ACC play, and really getting going to the season. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at here. Have a nice little over 49.5 receiving yards. Have a nice little 3-man. Start it out. Get some juice going on this little bit of slower Saturday than last week. Last week we had the 3 top 10 matchups. But yeah, that's where we're at here. We're going to be trying to put out some videos all week. There's going to be NFL videos this week. Really start pushing all of our football season. It's the best time of year. Fall's here, starting to cool down a little bit, and we're going to really get into football season and hit it hard. If you have any interest, again, you need to get over to Daily Edge Sports. Do it before it's too late, before we get too deep into football season. Get some of these early lines, some of these